Welcome to my new video. As you can see, this is a mini lathe. It's a Harbor Freight central machinery, and I've had it for a few years now, probably about 5 years, and this is the first time I've tried to use it. And I got a piece of metal here chucked up, and come to find out that I can't use it because it's really not 10 inches as it says, but the working area is like 8, more like 8 inches to its full extreme. So I guess, like a lot of guys, I found out the hard way that I should have bought the longer one, but that's not what this video is about. It's not a bitch video. It's not a review either. What we're going to do is we're going to swap this out. We're going to make it a 16-inch lathe. And I have on order a 16-inch bed, cast iron bed from littlemachineshop.com. I don't have it yet, but I will have it sometime next week. And what we're going to do is follow these instructions, and we're going to disassemble this one, and we're going to get it ready for the new bed so that I can use it. I've already started disassembling it, but then I decided, well, let me do a video while I'm doing it, because I couldn't find a decent one online. I found one, but the guy doesn't show the disassembly. He just shows the reassembly on the new, I think it was a 14-inch bed he bought. I'm not, casting aspersions on his video, but I was more interested in the disassembly than I am the assembly. But so anyway, here we go. This is, I've already started, by the way. I've taken this cover off, the plastic cover. There's only 2 screws that hold this cover on, by the way. These are the gears. You got to take this back plate off. And I'm not following the instructions, by the way. I started this without following the instructions. Oh, almost turned it over. I'll get this camera on a tripod pretty soon here, so that I'm not jumping all over the place. But anyway, there's 2 screws here that remove this back cover, and there's a ground that's attached to the motor. Here's the motor inside here. You gotta take this ground off. And what I like to do, so I don't lose screws, by the way, I put the screws back in the holes where they came out of. That's so I don't lose any screws. This assembly here, most of it is going to be used on the new unit. Most of the pieces and parts, so it would behoove you to do what I do, just stick the screws back in the holes. So anyway, that's as far as I got. That's all I did. I removed those few screws there, and probably should take my workpiece out of here before I start. Just loosen it up a little bit. Get this out of here. It's for another day. Alright, so I'm going to pause this now, and I'm going to start reading the instructions and see what else I need to take off this thing, and I'll do it in the order that's shown in the instructions here. These instructions are shown online, by the way, at littlemachine.com. You can download them. So that's what I did. I downloaded them. Okay, so let me pause it. Let me review the instructions here, and then we can get started on this. Okay, I'm back. Maybe you figured it out already, but there was one other thing I removed, and that's the tailstock. I did it without reading the instructions, out of order, but it's off. It's over here somewhere. Alright, so we're going to follow this down. So unplug the cord. Duh. Don't forget to do that. Remove the tailstock. I already did it. remove the rear splash guard. This is the rear splash guard. It has 4 screws, and let me see, there's 2 under here. I don't know if I can get my camera to show. There's 2 under here. You can see that. There's 1, and there's 2 under here, and there's another couple over here, I believe, somewhere. Anyway, we're going to remove that. And that's all I see, 3 screws, so there isn't 4 screws. What did they say? 4 Phillips head machine screws. Detach but do not disconnect the control box. There are 4 Phillips head machine screws, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Alrighty. So I said I removed this cover already, and now I want to remove this. 4 screws. Hopefully the camera's in view here. There's 1, 2, and there's 2 under here. So 1. And there's 2. I can't get at this one because of the splash guard. Oh, I got it. My bit is almost not long enough to reach that screw. Hopefully I can get the other one. Wherever it is, way down here. Do it left-handed. I don't know if that's out or not. It is. And the screws here. What we need to do, for camera's sake, see wiring here? Next thing they're going to tell us is remove the wiring. Yeah, it says make or draw a picture of the wiring connection so that you can put it all back together again later. What I usually do is use my cell phone. There's 1, 2, 3. There's 4 power wires and 2 wires that go to the board here. I don't know if you can see that in the video. Right here, they go into the board. Those 2 wires are for the switch up here. Another little something I got from the other guy's video. And he bypassed them, and that's probably what I'm going to do too. I don't want this cover, this interlock cover, to be active. I want to keep the cover, but I don't want the switch. So I'm going to take a picture of what I got going on here. Alright, so we got that saved. Just got to pull the wires off here. First I'm going to take off the interlock wiring from the board. Need a small screwdriver, flathead. It's not if I get my hand and my arm in the way there, but we're just going to put a jumper, I'm going to put a jumper across this. I'm not going to use these 2 wires that go to the switch up here. I'm just going to jump it out just like the other guy did. Alright, so those are out. Let's see what else we got here. I got to make sure that this thing doesn't shut down on me. I haven't used it in a long time, and I've got to make sure there's enough battery on the camera. I've had that happen to me before. I'm talking and talking, and I think I'm filming, and and the camera shut off, 15 minutes before that. Okay, so these are the two lighter gauges that go to the motor, and they go to the forward reverse switch, and the two power, which are the heavier duty. Get them off. I'm confused already. I took these two off. Oh, I accidentally pulled the power off. I didn't even realize it. These things are not easy to get off sometimes, So we got this out now to control. Okay. Alright, so where are we now? We did that, detached the wires. Note that the power cord has 3 wires. Power cord has 3 wires. 2 go here and one's to ground. There's 2 grounds here. Got to take this off too. Everything's got to come off this thing. And we got to cut a tie wrap here. There's a tie wrap on this. But these 2 got to come off of here too. Make sure you don't break any of this stuff. Oops, dropped everything that time. Dropped everything that time. Okay. Those 2 grounds are off. The idea is to get everything loose because we're going to pull this whole thing out of here. I'm sure that's what's going on. Once again, so that we don't lose anything, put this back in. Okay, we're back. And next thing it's telling me is remove the left side lead screw and gear, and I think since there's no pictures, at least not for the disassembly, I think they're talking about this gear and this bracket. Let me read this again. Remove the gear, bushing, and key. Now, I see a bushing here. From the left end of the lead screw. Here's the lead screw is under here. And, it's got 2 supports, got a pillow block back here. So this has got to be what they're talking about. And, yeah, well, that's got to be what they're talking about. It's a 5mm, by the way. So remove the gear. Okay. Grease. Grease. Should be wearing gloves. See if we can get this gear off. Another set screw in here. No. I might have to pry the gear. I'm not sure. There it is. Okay. Got it. This is keyed. It's got some kind of keyway on it. Yeah, this key comes out and there's a bushing here too. So this is the bushing that we're talking about. So the gear, the bushing, and the keyway. And that's all to get the lead screw out of here. The right lead screw mounting bracket pillow block. There are socket head cap screws. 2 socket head cap screws. The right side. We want us on the right side now. Let me see if I can get this thing leaned over a little bit. pillow block. I have to probably move this over. Yep, okay. Put this in view of the camera. This is the pillow block they're talking about. See if you can see it right here. It's a pillow block on the end. So we're gonna 5mm again. Remove the pillow block. That's one. Okay. And I don't know how this thing could come out of here without actually turning it. Nope, there it is. The half nuts are disengaged, handle up, and carefully pull the lead screw out towards the tailstock end. If necessary, tap with the soft-faced hammer. I need something to tap this so that I can, supposedly the lead screw will come out. I tap on that. Although I still have a feeling something's engaged on it. No, maybe not. Alright, we got to pause here. I got to go get a soft hammer or a rag and hammer. I got a hammer here. See what I got. I can tap on here. Well, look at that, it is coming out. So, surprise, surprise. Okay, let's see if we got the whole thing now. You can see it's coming out right here. That's after tapping on it. I don't know if I can get the rest of it by hand. I did. Okay. And we got something on there. I don't know where that came from. Some kind of grommet or something. This is half round. I don't know where this thing came from. Here. Alright, well, I guess I'll have to figure that out later. Oh, and guess what? We did this out of order too. I was supposed to take this plastic shield off. This is a shield so that the wiring comes through this hole here. The wiring comes through this hole, and so that the wiring doesn't touch the lead screw. Supposed to take this off. Still curious as to where this went. Put this back in. This way. I don't know how this grommet went in here. Or where it went. Should have been paying more attention. I guess we'll figure it out later. In the meantime, put these back in the casting here. Okay. Slide the rest of the lead screw out. More stuff in there? Why is that stuff? There it is. Okay. I'll put this on here, but I don't know what it's used for. Okay. What else we have here? Clean up here a little bit. Let's see. Lead screw, remove the right lead screw mounting bracket pillow block. We did that. Be sure the half nuts are disengaged, handle up, and pull the lead screw out towards the tailstock. If necessary, tap with a soft hammer. We did that. Remove the apron. There are 2 socket head cap screws near the front of the carriage. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. What apron? Oh, this apron. This must be the apron they're talking about. Sheet metal. Alright. 2 cap screws, they say. Let's see. There's a Phillips. And a Phillips. And I don't see any cap screws. In the front of the carriage. I have no idea what they're talking about. This has 2 Phillips screws on it. What the hell else could be an apron? Well, it ain't gonna hurt to take this out. We'll take a wild guess here and we'll say this is the apron. That didn't. No, there's more than. There's 1. I think there's 3 on here. Can't see what the heck I'm doing here. Dark under here, and then you got black screws. Okay. Well, hopefully that's the apron. If that's the apron, it doesn't have cap screws on it. It has 3 Phillips heads. And some of them had washers, some of them didn't. 2 had washers, 1 didn't. Unless I dropped it down in here somewhere. Probably did. Okay. Okay. Slide the carriage off the right end of the waves. You might need to loosen the adjusting screws to get the carriage off the ends of the waves. What adjusting screws? I guess they're talking about the Gibbs. Well, first off, I put these two screws back in and I can't never be able to get it off with these on. Okay. Let's move this over a little bit. And there you go, it stops right there. What's up? I don't know. There's a screw back here. Should have warned you. There's a cap head screw here. They use this as a stop. I see now for two things, but when you want to get the talking about this right here. When you want to get the tailstock off, you have to remove this cap screw. It's simply put in there to stop you from sliding the end stock off. So I already loosened it, but apparently you got to take it all the way out because you can't get this off either without taking this out of here. Pretty long screw too. Yeah, okay. And I don't know where to. I'm sure the Gibbs or something on this thing for adjustment. I don't want parts falling out of here when I get this thing out. I see there's I think a Gib here. I believe there's a Gib right here, bar. Not a Gib, but I don't know what you would call it, but it's, I think, what's used for adjustment. So carefully slide this thing off and we'll see how it goes. Don't want to that's it. Nope. One more. Tight. Okay. Well, I don't know what that was, but it's upside down right now. You can see what's in there. I was worried about this, but it looks like it's bolted down. I guess these are the Gibbs here. You get them from the bottom. Trust them from the bottom. I gotta put this someplace. I got space there. Alright, moving right along, we're almost there. Grease, more grease. I end up having to throw this thing away. I don't know why I'm cleaning it. Just to keep my hands clean, I guess. I end up throwing the whole damn thing away here. So these two came off the front here. I'm going to put them back on because they probably are going to be needed for the 16-inch, and at least I'll know where they go. what they're used for. These were for the pillow block. Which, by the way, I'm just going to put right back on here. And I'll know I have all the hardware when I do the 16-inch. I'll know I have the right screws, where it goes. I'll go at the end of the bed. Okay. There you go. Okay. And we'll put this stop screw back in here. Although, you know, when I do the mod, I'm probably going to leave this out. Okay. All right, what's the next step? Still a lot of gazintas on here that has to come off. Okay, I'm back. Welcome back. Next thing we need to do, in accordance with the instructions, I'm on page 4 now, is that there's 4 bolts here, not bolts, nuts. 4 nuts and 2 adjusting screws for the motor that's behind this part of the casting. Oh, and by the way, these holes here, by the way, I wouldn't have known this had I done this, but there's an access hole here for the motor brushes, which I'm sure they gave me extras when I bought this thing, but I don't have a clue where they are now. It's usually the way it is with Harbor Freight stuff. They always give you free brushes, but the brushes disappear into oblivion. Let's see what we need here. These are they stamped nuts? No, they're not. They're just regular nuts. So let's see what kind of mischief we can get ourselves into here. These goddamn wires are a pain in the ass now, they're in the way. It's actually not a nut. Oh, it is a nut. It's a nut and a stud. This is a stud that came out of the motor. Keep that in mind. There's one. That one's in there tight. And this one, only the nut came out, and I believe, oh, I know why. Motor's loose now. I'm just going to pull it out of here. And it takes a hex, an Allen of some sort, maybe a 4mm, I hope, or 3. 3mm to get the stud out. But you know what? I'm going to leave the stud in here. Is like I said, I like to leave stuff in place. When I was a lot younger, I had a friend of mine. If he ever watches this video, he'll probably get pissed off, but he used to drive me nuts because he would take stuff apart and just throw everything in a coffee can, and a couple of days would go by, maybe sometimes a week, waiting on a part or whatever, and it came time to put everything back together. He didn't have a clue what went where, what screw went where, what bolt, what nut. He used to drive. That's why I didn't let him work on my cars or anything. I need some lubrication here for, brain lubrication here. There you go. Now I feel smarter already. So let's see what else we got here. Oh, we're supposed to take out these two adjusters. They go, they're not going to come out without the 3mm. And I'm just going to leave them right here because I got no place else to put them anyway. So they're loose if I need them. I think when I watched the other video, the guy that installed the 14-inch, I don't think he used these. They had another setup, so we may not need these anymore. They had a different way of mounting the motor. Okay, so we got that done. Let's see what other mischief we can get ourselves into here. Motor's out. Next up, change gears. I love it when they use this technology because I have not a clue what that means, but I think it means these gears up front here. Remove the M8 nut and washer from the change gear adjuster. Remove the M8 nut and washer from the change gear adjuster. What, pray tell, could that be? Here's an M8 nut. I guess that's what that is. Okay. I just put my sockets away. Hope you guys are paying attention. There's going to be a test later. Uh-oh. What's that? Tell me I need a more bigger socket. Yep. What is this anyway? A dirty socket, I can't even read it. 14mm. That's right, yep. Ooh, tight. Tight. Ah, I see. Let's see what's happening here. I see. And there's a washer on here, so you gotta get the washer off too. Voila. Okay, going on the bushing there. Alrighty, and again, this is probably going to be reused. Let me make sure it's, I don't have an open end. I need an open end or a wrench. Again, I'm going to leave this, it's loose. I'm leaving it on the original casting. If I need it, all the hardware here. If I need this, I'll, I don't know if you guys can even see what the hell I'm doing. I'm talking. I don't know what the lighting is. There we go. Right here. Alright, so I don't know where it goes. Oh, looking good. I'll leave my socket set out this time. I'll leave it out just in case I need it again. Alright, what are we doing here now? Okay, change gears, remove the M8 from the gear change adjuster. Remove the left lead screw mounting bracket and change gear adjustment assembly. That was a change gear adjustment assembly, now they want this bracket off. Headstock and miscellaneous. Remove the headstock. There are 3 socket head cap screws under the ways. 1, 2, and 1 in the back. Ooh, there's 1 in the back. Ooh. Got a tickly nose here. Yep, there's 1 in the back. I'm not going to get it with this until I take this pan off. And we really don't need to take the pan off. By the way, I just realized that there are things that they're telling us to remove from this that we don't have to remove because we're not going to reuse them. This is a 10-inch lathe. We're not going to remove certain items. We're not going to reuse certain items is what I'm trying to say. So that, you know, somewhere in here they tell you to remove the pan. No point in removing the pan because we're not going to reuse this on the new one that's on order, so no point in doing that. Alright, anyway, what was I doing? I got to remove the headstock here, huh? And to do that I need a set of Allen, so I'm going to pause here for a second. I need a set of regular Allen keys. Okay, I had to go hunt down a 5mm, regular 5mm Allen wrench. I think the lighting in here is terrible right now. Let me adjust the lighting a little bit. Maybe I can get a better. It might be better. Anyway, there's 2 socket head screws here for the head. All I need is a place to put this. I'm running out of room. Okay, I think that's about it. Let's see what the instructions say. Yeah, see here, here it's telling us to remove the chip plate. Now, maybe the reason they're telling us to remove it is because they want to reuse the feet, the rubber feet on the bottom. Because I don't see any point in disassembling this any further. We've got everything off of it. And the rest of the stuff is just for, yeah, okay, that's what it's all about. They